short notice, but we believe that the news that we are sharing with you is of great importance to the entire country, particularly our learners, their parents, our teachers, and all the citizens of the Philippines. This is my statement. This morning, we received a memorandum from the Office of the President that the President has already made the decision in respect to the recommendation that I submitted to him last August 6. Last August 6, I submitted to him a policy analysis of the implications of the imposition of modified enhanced community quarantine or MECQ in Metro Manila and in the provinces of Cavite, Bulacan, Laguna, and Rizal. The combined learner population of these two regions are very significant in terms of the entirety of our learner population. Napakalaking grupong learners ito. As per the memorandum of the President, he has given approval to the recommendation of DepEd, which, I repeat, we submitted last August 8. Thus, we will now implement such a decision to defer school opening to October 5, pursuant to Republic Act number 11480. It will be recalled that the law specifically states that the President can decide on the opening of school classes upon the recommendation of the Secretary of the Department of Education. Thus, we are going to use this deferment, which the President has decided upon, to provide relief to the logistical limitations faced by the areas placed under the MECQ. It's very large areas, and as I said, involves millions of learners. Region 4A alone has more than 4 million learners, and NCR has more than 2 million learners, as well as the other provinces have very significant learner populations as well. So we want to fill in the remaining gaps of the school opening by providing relief because of the logistical limitations to movement of teachers and also of our staff, and possibly of other individuals who are involved in the process of education. Kaya we recommended October 5 in recognition of the need to make these adjustments. Areas outside MECQ are directed by DepEd to continue their orientations, their dry runs. We already have conducted more than 500 dry runs, and the delivery of learning resources so that we will be ready for the opening of classes on October 5. Once more, we'd like to emphasize that when we open classes, there will be no face-to-face sessions. And sessions will not be limited to online sessions alone. This is because we have adopted a policy of blended learning wherein various modalities are being recommended depending on the situation at the level of the region and of the school. Thus, we are now finalizing arrangements for television programs, radio programs, and also our much favored modular systems and printed material, plus, of course, many other modalities. So it's not limited to online because we know also that there are limitations to online, as mentioned by the President in his State of the Nation address. We trust in the DepEd that this is the final adjustment of the school opening. Even with the implementation of MECQ, we will use this time to make the necessary adjustments and ensure that all preparations have been made for the successful opening of classes for school year 2020 and 2021. We would like to express our gratitude for the constant and ready support of no less than the President himself to the cause of education, of the offices under the Office of the President, particularly the Executive Secretary, of the support of the Senate, the chairs of the various committees involving education, including also our own Senator Bongo, who has supported us all the way. So we hope, as I said, that this will be the final adjustment for the school opening, and we look forward to a much better, much more prepared opening of classes. there will be, of course, there are also implications, but we are confident that we can overcome this with the constant, as I said, never-ending and general support of the President, including as well the Secretary of Finance and the Secretary of Budget and Management, as well as all of those international community, civil society organizations, experts in education who have contributed to the formulation of our learning continuity program and have given much precious and useful advice to us so that education can continue, COVID or no COVID, tragedy or no tragedy, disaster or no disaster. The children are asking to go back to school and we will listen to them. Thank you very much.
Maraming salamat, ma'am. And we would also like to acknowledge po yung mga member po ng Executive Committee ng Department of Education. We have here Yusek Alain Pascua, Asek Almatorio, Yusek Annalyn Sevilla, and of course we have Yusek Diosdado San Antonio, Asek GH Ambat, Yusek Jess Mateo, and Asek Salvador Malana. So yun po, magandang hapon po sa lahat. So siguro we're going to proceed po dito sa questions po ng ating mga kasamahan sa media, ma'am. Ang unang magtatanong po ay si AC Nichols ng CNN. Go ahead, AC.
Hello, good afternoon to everyone. Ma'am, just yesterday lang po sa briefing with Secretary Harry Roque, you were quite sure na tuloy na po yung August 24 opening. But as it turns out, you had a recommendation to the President submitted back in August 6 to postpone due to the imposition of MECQ. So basically, ma'am, these past days, you were just waiting for the President to get back to you on that recommendation na i-move na sa October, ma'am.
Yes, but in the meantime, while waiting for the President to make his decision and perhaps make his own policy analysis and policy choices, we have to stick to the law, which allows us up to the last day of August for the opening of classes. But this morning, the official decision was already transmitted. I knew about it late last night. Tapos na yung press ko natin by that time, the day before. So ngayon, we thought that we should announce it as soon as possible. You will notice, those of you in radio and TV, you will notice that I have not been accepting media interviews, and this is precisely because we were waiting for the President to make his final decision. This is what the law says. The President makes the decision in so far as opening of classes are concerned. If these are different from what the previous law says, kung pagbabago, pag-change, it is the President's prerogative on the recommendation of the Secretary of Education.
Ma'am, quick follow-up, and just to be clear, it was the imposition of the MECQ that made you recommend to the President that perhaps we need to rethink the August 24 opening.
Yeah. My memorandum was dated August 6, and before that, we had a face-to-face meeting also on July, last day of July, and we already discussed these issues. But I have to put the analysis, the implications, the number of learners involved, the administrative costs, and so on. The implications for the delay, for example, in the learning process of the children, and so on and so forth. And we put it together, submitted it on August 6th, and the President has made his decision based on that recommendation.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Last from me.
Thank you.
In the next few weeks, ano po yung mga kailangan gawin ng mga guro natin at na who have been preparing po for the opening on August 24?
What has come out in our dry runs and simulations is that there are challenges, particularly in the two affected regions. Kasi sa preparation ng mga materials, talagang nagkaroon ng logistical challenges because of the limitations of movement. ng mga tao natin. And also the fact that we have to organize skeleton forces, hindi yung full force because of the, as I said, the requirements of the IATF and also of the Department of Health. So nalimit yung ano nila, flexibility and readiness, etc. And these two regions comprise about a third of all our learner populations. Malaking malaki, by the millions itong mga batang affected nito. So we made calculations and submitted these to the President as well as to the administrative costs which will be entailed. And ang question mo is, what will the teachers be doing in the meantime? We have been receiving very useful feedback on our dry runs and our simulations. We will work harder on them. We will speed up kasi ang issue, if you are reading social media, there has been much concern about the production of the learning modules. So magkaroon tayo ng additional time and space, particularly for these two regions. In the meantime, while the simulations are going on, patuloy ang upskilling ng teachers, patuloy ang pag-prepare ng ating mga learners for the new way, for the better way, as the others say, or as I would say, for the brave way, for the brave normal which we are trying to create. Thank you.
Maraming salamat, ma'am. We will also acknowledge the presence of Undersecretary Revsi Escobedo, who's also with us this afternoon. Ang susunod na magtatanong po, ma'am, ay si Ina Hernando po ng Manila Bulletin. Go ahead, Ina.
Hello, good afternoon everyone. Good afternoon, Secretary. Tanong ko lang po, what are the implications of the adjustment in our school calendar, specifically yun pong number of school days? How will this be adjusted, and how do you feel po about moving yung classes despite announcing that it is actually ready for it?
Ina, those are the concerns that you mentioned are actually our concerns as well, especially in the case of the regions which are under low risk assessment. In the case of places where they have zero record of new COVID cases, no. So we have to do certain adjustments. We can already proceed going through the simulations of the classes. So automatic kung bukas na tayo sa October, the children are already ready. At ang bottleneck nito, as all of you know, is in the preparation of the modules, the written modules, as well as in the finalization of our television programs, which we are also finalizing with various servers. So this gives us time to prepare. Pero ang question, like all mothers would ask, what will the children be doing in the meantime? We will go through what we have simulated, and we will keep in touch with the children. Because kung ang children ang tanungin mo, gusto na nila talagang pumasok. And I have talked with many children, and children also have written me, those who already know how to use the computer and to communicate virtually with the Secretary of Education. So ipagpatuloy natin ito lahat, pero hindi lang natin muna i-formalize kasi kailangan October 5 pa. But as I said, there are places where zero COVID sila. There are places na low risk assessment sila. So they go through the process of opening school, orienting the students, etc. Pero number one, ulit-ulitin ko, walang face-to-face because I am being cursed, I'm being excoriated, galit na galit sa akin because I'm going to expose the children, and that has never been the intention. And also, online is not the only methodology. We have had successful simulations. For example, in Davao de Oro, using radio, we have had successful simulations also using television, and very moving stories of people from the islands who are not as exposed to COVID as we are here in the two big regions. So ipagpatuloy yan, but not necessarily formalized, so that when the formal school begins, talagang they're already completely ready. Saka mayroon pa tayong psychosocial preparation ng students, ng teachers, They have been undergoing psychosocial preparation because the approach to teaching is different from what they are used to, or maybe even I was used to during my time. So it's not as if the teachers will be doing nothing, the children will be doing nothing, and the staff will be doing nothing. Hindi ganon. These activities will still continue so that we'll be better prepared. At saka kung may mga glitches, kung may mga challenges, kung may mga nakikita tayo na which should be improved, ito lahat gagawin during this interregnum. Especially for the low risk and the no risk places. Thank you.
So ma'am, tanong ko na lang po kung mag-e-extend po ba kasi usually ang end po ng school year supposedly is April. So mag-e-extend po ba tayo ng months, or kasi nga as it is right now meron po tayong Saturday classes. So paano po yung will it be a shorter, a leaner school year po ba yung expect natin?
Alam mo yun, nakita mo yun lahat. That is because you are a mother. For example, by next year, people's minds will also be on preparations for the forthcoming election in 2022. No, so maabutan yan at saka yung closing ng academic year. We have to make the necessary adjustments as they occur. And besides, ang ating pinaka-stretch, sabi nga ni President, sagarin niya talaga yung maximum allowable na ma-minimize ang harm, but at the same time we continue giving an education to our children, kaya napili niya yung October. We have to make the necessary adjustments, lalo na on the matter of the assessment of the students and so on. But we are also hoping and praying that there will be changes in the health picture, kasi itong decision na ito is based on what is happening now, what is now the status of COVID, particularly in the two regions. And if the picture improves, surely we will have to be making adjustment. And the president has that kind of power, which has been given to him by the law. Thank you, Ina.
Ma'am, last question na lang po on my part. Siguro po just a message to the parents, teachers, and learners who are na-move na naman po yung school opening natin. Thank you po.
Thank you. These are very difficult times. All of us know that, Ina. And things change on a day-to-day basis. Numbers change. And we have to adjust to these new situations. But if things get better, we can also adjust in a positive way. I know that it is difficult for us because we are used to school calendars. We are used to schedules. Ganito, kailan ang enrollment, ganitong araw ang examinations, ganitong araw ang last day of classes, ganitong araw, ganitong week ang graduation. Hindi na natin magawa ngayon yan dahil all over the country, the situation is different. And also, sa buong bansa, nagbabago din ang situation, which is affected also by the worldwide behavior of coronavirus. So we have to be helping and understanding each other on this particular issue. But we thank really the parents for their patience and their children who are very impatient, wanting to go to school already, for their understanding and for their support.
Sa lahat ng follower ng Page Lifetime, you subscribe and